Isn't it weird? Isn't it strange? Even though we're just strangers on this runaway train, we're both trying to find a place in the sun. We've lived in the shadows, but doesn't everyone? Isn't it strange?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's kind
we
of creepy.
all feel a little bit weird sometimes.
First album was an extraordinary change. I don't think we were entirely, the perspective isn't entirely there in truth. You don't really understand it even until you're a little further away from it.
Yeah.
But I think in that moment, what we were thinking was, oh my gosh, this worked. We were selling records all over the world. I mean, that song was number 1 in 27 countries at the same time. We never assumed that at that age, at that time, that first album was going to break out. We really intended, we're just like, well, we got signed now and we want to succeed, but we'd be happy if, 3 or 4 albums in, we finally break. Just like the bands that we had admired.
How come you all are so musical?
Good question. We have incredibly musical parents. Our parents were singers. Our mom was a vocal major in college, and our dad was a frustrated musician. And kind of just, I think because of that, they saw that we were musical and were able to go, oh, I know what that is. I'll encourage them to do that.
We started singing, and people liked it.
Yeah.
And so there's a
Starting
little bit
with
of
our
that,
grandparents.
There's
and
a
our
little
cousins.
that sweet spot where you don't know. It does begin in some ways without thinking, and then we just, you just get more and more serious about it. And at some point, really about a couple years into playing local concerts and stuff, I think we really began to identify who we were as artists, because we were writing songs from the beginning, but all of a sudden there began to be a real sound, and then before you know it, you're coming in and creating fans. You actually have fans of a sound that you've created.
I think from the beginning we were thinking things like, dude, let's be the first band to play on the moon.
Welcome to Hanson photo shoot number 3.
You had a very special childhood then.
There's something interesting about that, and obviously we didn't do some of the normal things. No. Going to prom and going over to friends' houses on the weekend because we had been playing a gig. We did a lot of different things, but the reality is we also got to do a lot of extraordinary things.
Yeah.
And so I think it really vastly outweighs anything you missed out on, all the extra experiences you had. And in the end, I think so much of that is just about a choice to realize that you could sit there and go, oh, we missed so much. But really, you can also go, wow, we did so many things, and we're still doing so many things. I think women, especially at that age, who tend to chase men and scream at them, don't realize how off-putting that is, right? They're like, I love you! And you're like, oh my God, does she have rabies? Is there a disease? What is this? Is this the start of some zombie apocalypse? They're all going crazy.
Weirdest fan stories. I think we were in Mexico. We were planning to do an in-store, and they had several thousand people that were outside just for like an acoustic show. So we pull into the parking garage, getting ready to go up, and you can hear the pounding of the audience because there were so many people. Kind of everyone's on edge and ready to go in, and out from underneath the 2 cars that are parked next to us in this parking garage that's been locked for 12 hours come this team of several girls who had been sleeping underneath the cars all night long, covered in grease. And spring, like, and you know, we watched the security team, you know, like
Do one of these.
you've never seen a large man jump like that, you know. We've had a lot of crazy experience. We had fans, you know, we've had people sneak into our hotel rooms. We've had, you know, been in our buses at events and watched the whole thing be rocked like you're in the middle of a riot.
Lock your doors.
And you're thinking to yourself, is this love? Is this affection?
What kept you grounded?
Well, I think we had probably wise parents who said, you know what, we're going to live in Oklahoma, and we're going to stay living in Oklahoma, where there aren't any paparazzi, and there aren't, you know, news outlets are going to chase you down, and for the most part, you can live a generally normal life, and then go off and do your job in LA, and go off and do your job around the world and play concerts, and then I think probably the fact that we were brothers helped.
I don't think anyone would ever accuse us of being arrogant. I think we know we.
Can you say that about
humble.
yourself?
Oh, I mean, I'm just saying. I don't think we're.
In my humble opinion, I would say no one would tell me I'm not arrogant.
You know,
Because I don't have friends that would say that to me.
After 2 records and worldwide fame, you in many ways disappeared in the late 90s. What happened?
What happened was, you know, as we were releasing our second record, a massive record label merger happened. And everybody that had signed us, everybody that had been involved in our first record was basically gone. And all of a sudden we start to get this really strong feeling back from the label like, we don't really know what to do with you.
It was just a really bad combination of things. They weren't willing to go, okay, we are going to build this career with this band. They were searching for something.
Yeah.
And they didn't know what it was.
We were really patient with our label, maybe a little bit too patient. Because it did take 3 years for us to kind of like decide to get the heck out.
Did it almost tear you apart as well?
I think we were challenged. We'd never been challenged as a band, as brothers, to that degree, up until that point. That was absolutely our greatest difficulty up to that point.
So instead, you started your own record label. How is that?
You know, it is a crazy job to run the label, to be the band, but you know, it's also I think the amazing thing about it is you wake up every day and you go into work and it's completely up to you how you spend that day.
Yeah.
You know, we made the music we wanted before.
Yeah.
But what you have now is limitless opportunities without roadblocks from other people. But it's always a challenge.
And baby, lots of dreams of starry skies. Close our eyes, pretend to fly. It's always ready to meet tonight.
We definitely get tired of each other. And the truth is, the more businesses we start, the more children we have, the more, you know, things that you have relying on you and stresses on your life, the harder it is to have a good relationship with each other.
Yeah.
Because you just have less time for each other.
Isn't it a bit scary as well? I mean, being a band, if you split up, you also kind of split up
A family,
ties in a way.
It's very hard to. You can't really think of them as separate. You just survive it.
You have no light to guide you, and no one to walk beside you. I will come to you, oh, come to you.
Goals change,
Yeah.
but you're still just trying to dream the biggest dream and write the greatest song and honestly have the most fun you can doing it along the way. In the end, you're still just trying to be the first band to play on the moon.